Let's be honest, we all want to make more money, right? But the usual advice, be the best, crush the competition, it's just a recipe for burnout. But what if there's a smarter way? A way that doesn't involve that brutal grind? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really powerful strategy called talent stacking that can help you earn more with a whole lot less stress. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to tear down the myth that you have to be in the top 1% to make it big. Then we'll dive right into the talent stack strategy and see why it's such a game changer. After that, we'll get super practical and talk about how to build your own stack. And we'll wrap it all up with a simple one-week challenge you can literally start today. For the longest time, the conventional wisdom has been pretty simple. If you want to earn the big bucks, you have to be one of the absolute best. You got to fight your way to the very, very top of the pyramid in whatever it is you do. So what does that traditional path actually look like? Well, it's a relentless head-to-head fight. You're up against people who are willing to sacrifice pretty much everything just to get to the top. It's tough. So you've really got two paths. On one side, there's the hard way, this brutal, high-effort climb to be number one. But on the other side, there's a much smarter way. Instead of just competing where everyone else is, you create your own category. You combine skills to carve out a unique space, where suddenly you're number one by default. And this isn't just some theory. The stakes are so real. Just look at the Olympics. The prize money for a gold medalist is massive. Meanwhile, the person who comes in fourth, who is often just milliseconds behind, gets a tiny fraction of that. This winner-take-all game isn't just in sports. It happens in so many careers. Seriously, what's the difference between life-changing money and, well, not much? Sometimes it's just a tenth of a second. That is the brutal reality of trying to be the absolute best. But what if you could just decide to play a completely different game? And that brings us to this much, much smarter approach. Instead of trying to be world-class in just one thing, you focus on adding complementary skills to what you're already good at. And here's the kicker. You don't need to master the new skill. A lot of the time, just being good enough is all it takes. This whole idea has a name. It's called talent stacking, and it was coined by Scott Adams, the guy who created the Dilbert comic strip. It's all about combining skills in a way that creates something new and valuable, something that makes you totally stand out from the crowd. And Scott Adams himself is the perfect example of this in action. He's the first to admit that none of his individual skills are world-class. He says he's not the best artist, he's not the most brilliant writer, and he's not the funniest comedian out there. If you look at his skills one by one, they're pretty average, right? Mediocre drawing ability, some business knowledge, decent writing, a good sense of humor. So, what's the secret sauce? How did this mix of just good enough skills lead to something so huge? He combined them. He stacked them. By putting together these good enough skills, he basically invented a new category, the office humor comic strip, where he had way less competition. Sure, there are better artists out there and way funnier comedians, but how many people are good at both? Okay, so this brings us to the real logic behind why this strategy is so incredibly powerful. It's not just about adding skills together, it's about multiplying their value. Here's the big idea in a nutshell. When it comes to your value in the marketplace, being good at two complementary things is often worth more than being excellent at just one. And the reason is simple. That combination is rare, and rarely is what creates value. You're basically creating a new, smaller pond where you're instantly the big fish. This strategy is also just way more efficient, and that's because of something called diminishing returns. Think about it. Let's say you want to learn marketing. You can read a few essential books over a couple of months and probably get about 70% of the really important stuff. But to get that last little bit, to get to 95%, you might need a 4-year degree. It's so much easier to get good enough in a few different skills than it is to reach absolute mastery in just one. All right, so the theory makes sense. But how do you actually put this into practice? What are the right skills to be adding to your own talent stack? Well, the most powerful skills you can add are the ones that are transferable, the kind that apply almost everywhere. Think about a great soccer player. Their athleticism and their strategic mind would probably make them a pretty decent basketball player, too. In the professional world, skills like clear communication, persuasive writing, marketing, and just a basic grasp of psychology, those are the ultimate force multipliers. They make you better at pretty much any job. But if there's one skill that kind of rules them all, it's business acumen. Seriously, understanding how business works is the ultimate amplifier. It can take any other skill you have and just dramatically increase its earning potential. And business isn't just one thing. It's really a powerful talent stack all by itself. It combines things like negotiation, risk management, delegation, you name it. Mastering these ideas is what helps you go from being an employee who trades time for money to an owner who gets paid for the value they create. So, where do you start? I want to give you a really simple, low commitment challenge that you can use to put all these ideas into action right away. Okay, here's the plan. First, just take a minute and write down your current core skills, the things you're already good at. Next, brainstorm one new skill that could amplify what you already do. Then, for just 1 week, that's it, immerse yourself in that skill. Read a book, watch some tutorials, listen to a podcast. Look, the goal here is not to become an expert overnight. It's just to learn enough to see how the pieces might fit together. It's a tiny investment of time with the potential for a huge payoff. And that really brings us to the main point. The big takeaway here isn't that you need to be the best in the world at one specific thing. The real and frankly more exciting question is this: what unique combination of skills can you build to create a category where you are the only one?